Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to Ramadan 101 for beginners and intermediate learners. Before we begin, I would like to point out a few key terms that I think would benefit you guys if you jot them down. It'll help you gain a better understanding as we move along in the video. The first is wajib, duty, niyah, intentions, hadith, narrations that come from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Next are fidya, compensation, taqwa, fearing Allah's punishment and loving His reward. Next, sahur, meal before sunrise to start fast. Iftar, meal after sundown to break fast. And lastly, siyam, fasting. As you will notice as we move along in the video, I will be defining these words in more detail. So feel free to jot down more information to help you get a broader understanding. I'd like to begin by explaining the wisdom behind the obligation of fasting. I will be reading the question and answer taken straight out of the book Fatawa Arkanul Islam written by the Shaykh Uthaymin Rahimahullah. Question 392. What is the wisdom behind the obligation of fasting? Shaykh Uthaymin Rahimahullah, he answered, if we read the words of Allah the Most High, he says, O you who believe, observing as-sawm, the fasting, is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may become al-muttaqoon. Then we will know the wisdom behind the obligation of fasting. It is taqwa, and worship of Allah, the Most Glorified, the Most High. Taqwa means to abandon unlawful deeds, and without exception. It includes doing whatever Allah has commanded and abstaining from whatever He has forbidden. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, whoever does not give up lying speech and acting on them, and evil deeds, and behaving in an ignorant, evil way, and speaking bad words to others, then Allah is not in need of his fasting, leaving his food and drink. Based upon this, the obligation upon the fasting person to undertake the obligatory deeds and abstain from the unlawful is confirmed, both in word and deed. So he should not backbite, nor should he lie, nor should he spread gossip amongst them, nor should he sell unlawful things, and he should avoid all unlawful deeds. If a person does this for a whole month, his soul would be upright for the rest of the year. But unfortunately, many fasting people do not distinguish between the days they fast and the days they are not fasting. They behave according to their usual custom, leaving what is obligatory upon them and committing what is unlawful for them, and one does not sense the solemnity of a fasting person in them. While these deeds do not invalidate his fasting, they reduce his rewards, and possibly on the day when deeds are weighed, these sins will outweigh the reward of his fasting, and he will lose its benefit. The next book I referenced was Bulugul Mar'am, Attainment of the Objective According to the Evidence of the Ordinance, which was compiled by Al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar Asqalani. The following definition was taken out of this book. The meaning of siyam and sawm is to stop and refrain from. According to Sharia terminology, it implies abstinence from eating, drinking, and sexual intercourse, etc., starting from dawn till sunset, with the firm intention of carrying out the orders of Allah. Fasting is one of the 5 pillars in Islam. One who rejects it is a disbeliever. One who shuns it is a disobedient Muslim. Fasting was prescribed as an obligation in the 2nd year of the Hijrah calendar. Ramadan does not begin until the new moon is sighted. And once the new moon is sighted, then you may begin to prepare for fasting that night. Narrated by Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, I heard Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, fast when you see the new moon, and break your fast when you see it, all the way to the end of the hadith, which was agreed upon. And in another narration by Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, the people tried to sight the new moon, so I informed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I had seen it, so he fasted and commanded the people to fast. And this hadith is sahih. Next up is intentions. Intentions must be set for the sake of Allah before the night of fasting or before dawn. And if you forget to set your intentions, then you should set it as soon as possible or as soon as you remember. In the Hadith 532 out of the book Bulughul Mar'am, narrated by Hafsa radiallahu an, one of the mothers of the believers and also one of the wives of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the fast of one who does not make intentions to fast before dawn is not accepted. And in another narration, he says, there is no fast for the one who does not make the intention to fast during the night. Next, you have to eat plenty of food, and this food is called sahur. It is a blessed meal which you consume to nourish you throughout the day of your fasting. You have to eat your sahur before sunrise, and after you eat, you should offer your salat, which is your prayer. Hadith number 535 out of Bulughul Mar'am, narrated by Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu. He said, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, take a meal just before dawn, for there is a blessing in sahur at that time. And this hadith is agreed upon. Once your fast has commenced, you should remember one thing. You are not just leaving alone food and drinks. You have to leave alone all the foolishness. It's time to build yourself. In the month of Ramadan, you do not just fast just for physical health, mental health, or any worldly gains. You're fasting for the sake of Allah. Fasting is for Allah. This pleases Him more than anything. In the month of Ramadan, all shayateen and jinns are locked away. So if you commit any evil deeds, then you should know they are from yourself. In Hadith number 538 in Bulughul Mar'am in the book of Siyam, it is narrated, Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu said, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever does not abandon falsehood and action in accordance with it and foolishness, Allah has no need that he should abandon his food and drink. Reported by Al-Bukhari and Abu Dawood. As the day continues, it is still wajib upon you to offer all your salah. That means, just because you're fasting does not mean you're excused from praying. So please remember, offer your salah on time or whenever you get a chance as soon as possible. After the sun goes down, it is time for iftar. Only after the sun goes down you break your fast, and you should break your fast either with a date and or a cup of water. Hadith number 534 in Bulughul Mar'am in the book of Siyam. It is narrated by Sahal bin Sa'd radiallahu anhu. He said, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the people will continue to be on the right path as long as they hasten in the breaking of the fast. In Hadith number 536 in Bulughul Mar'am in the book of Siyam, it is narrated by Salman bin Amir Adabbi radiallahu anhu. He said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when one of you break his fast, he should do it with some dates. But if he cannot get any, he should break his fast with water, for it is purifying. Before breaking your fast, you have to offer a supplication. So I chose a famous supplication that the Sahabas and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to recite. It goes as follows: Allahumma inni laka sumtu wa bika amantu wa alayka wa tawakkaltu wa ala rizqika aftartu. And the translation reads, O Allah, I fasted for you, and I believe in you, and I put my trust in you, and I break my fast with your sustenance. Before we close out, I would like to read a hadith. Hadith number 548 in Bulughul Mar'am in the book of Siyam. Narrated by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. He said, permission was given for an old man to break his fast in Ramadan and feed a poor for every day, and no makeup is required of him. This hadith is explained, an old man who is incapable of fasting may atone for it by offering fidya. Similarly, for a sick An invalid person whose health is not likely to improve may also offer fidya. A fidya represents the offering of a full meal to a poor person. The same represents an atonement for one day's missed fasting. Well, that's it. That wraps it up for Ramadan 101 for beginners and intermediate learners. Inshallah, I was able to help you guys at least get a slight understanding of what to expect in a few more days. Remember, everyone, this is the month to build self discipline, also a month to give back to Allah because we know we could use all the rewards we can get. Also, help each other out, stay positive, preach positive, let's stay away from all negativity, and just love each other. For the sake of Allah, I do this, and for the sake of Allah, I wish and hope you gain some kind of insights. And I hope to hear from you guys. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you all for joining, and thank you all for supporting. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.